Hello, today I wanted to introduce you to Possibilities, an image I created through a mental picture that came to me as I was finishing my Apprehension image, which I showed you last week. So this image began, I had this vision of a bunch of circles, so I set up some kite paper, or sorry, not kite paper, craft butcher paper, and started putting these circles on. Now, as you can see, I'm just painting. Whenever the paint dries, I move on to a new circle. So I'm not focused on really defining these circles. It's just about getting them on the paper. And soon you will see me moving into more definition, where I want to emphasize certain circles. And I just keep adding and adding, because all of these circles represent possibilities for me, ideas I have, things I want to do. And I'm very now more focused on creating these boundaries. So as I was doing this, I started to feel the inspiration to use music. Now I'd like to confirm that I do not know how to tune a guitar. I do not know how to play guitar. I just have this around. It's an inherited item from my father, who was a musician. And I just felt inspired to play. So I sat there and played for about 45 minutes actually. So I continued to create circles and define circles. You can see that they're overlapping, so that is symbolic for my ideas are often overlapping. They're all connected. There's a common theme, but there's also a lot of ideas, and it is a little overwhelming when you look back on it. All the different circles, you can't really tell one from the other. Where does one begin? What was even the first idea? So as I was painting the circles, I knew what colors I wanted to use. I wanted to use blue and purple. So here I am filling in, starting to define my circles more with the blue. So only the first two circles I painted were full circles. Now I'm focused on just these little areas, and some of them even look like baseballs. I seem to have gone away from defining the circles, which starts to bother me a bit. And when I start with the purple, it's the same. I'm focusing solely on little areas, pieces, bits and pieces. These pieces do not create a full picture, a full focus on any one of these particular possibilities. So it isn't until I begin to paint over some of the blue, and you'll see that happen in the top right hand corner shortly. That's when something changes within me. When I paint over that circle in the top right hand corner, which I'm going to do right away, I experience a change within my body. All of a sudden I feel I have confidence and power. I'm able to focus on one possibility, or rather one circle at a time. Symbolism and metaphor are amazing. What are your thoughts on using metaphor as a means to tell your story and to heal? The symbol here is a blending, well, all symbols are blending, a union of intuition, concept, and observation. The symbol, along with metaphor and myth, are stepping stones to knowledge and wisdom. While different philosophers over time have spoken of this and had different views, they all point to the same general theories. The philosophers I speak of are Kant, Cassier, and Steiner, to name a few. The image is a significant factor in understanding the unconscious. Our unconscious is transformed by understanding our unconscious, and our unconscious speaks to us via the image or these mental pictures. These images and the process to which they are made help the client or the artist or the creator to understand how they are processing and understanding their world at the moment of creating the image. So the image is made, our response to the unconscious, and they become sacred. They become talisman. They hold power. You now see me adding gold, and this is the light, and it's coming from behind these circles, and it's wanting to burst through. So after I was, or maybe while I was painting the gold, I felt called to cut out the gold, because I actually wanted to have something come through the page, like to make this movement of the light wanting to burst through a reality. So cutting here is important. I am separating my possibilities from this outside, I don't know what to call it, from the outside. I just want to focus on the possibilities. I want to focus solely on the image and not on the distraction of this white kind of scrap paper around the image. So I continue to cut out all the gold that I have painted within, and leaving some of my boundaries, these black lines, quite vulnerable to being ripped or torn. And after I'm done this, I spin it around on the wall, wanting to see it from different angles. And I recommend doing this with any of your artwork, to spin it around in front of you on the table or desk, but also on the wall, put it on the floor, and look at it from above. If it's possible to put it above you and lay on the floor and look above onto it, that's not always possible, but just seeing your image from different angles and noticing how it creates a different response in your body, how your physiology changes, how your mind responds to it. There are some positions that are just going to feel so uncomfortable as you move your picture. And other times you will put your picture in a different, see your picture from a different point of view, and you will see a whole new image, and it will be transformative. So it's nice to play around with your images and see where they belong. The image sat for months taped to the wall above my sofa, and I saw it all the time, and I wanted it to go on styrofoam, but I was not making it to the store to pick up styrofoam. But I would continually see this image, and I just felt this tug on me that I needed to work with it. And one day when I was out walking my pup in the back area, there were 3 pieces of these huge sheets of styrofoam laying in the ditch. So I thought it was a divine message from God, and I picked it up and carried it home, not easily. So I felt called to continue to work on this art piece. So I pinned this art piece to the styrofoam, not yet sure how or when was going to be best to formally attach it. And I experimented with different ways on how to create the light bursting through the image. I found some polyester fabric at the Dollar Tree and filled it with tissue paper, and I tried to attach it on gluing. Now here I had to do a lot of Google searches to find out what glues would be best for styrofoam. I don't know how I knew to do this, but something told me styrofoam would be tricky to glue on, and I was right. I was not happy with how this turned out. I did appreciate how the yellow as it was, or the light, how it was bursting through the image, ripped and tore, and I saw it as a very feminine birthing experience. But ultimately, I needed to change it. I decide that I want to cut the styrofoam centers out, the part that's white. So I ordered this special knife to cut styrofoam, and I envision myself actually with my hand pushing the yellow fabric through and filling it with polyfill. So I'm looking forward to that. But right now, sitting outside here, cutting this out, and every once in a while I'll poke it through with my finger. It is transformative. It just really feels like I am letting go, cutting something out that doesn't need to be there, pushing it through, just feeling that pop. It's beautiful. In the last couple of minutes of this video, I want to discuss attachments and non-attachments. These are my words to classify these two different types of resources used in the creative process. They are symbolic and they will carry meaning in your image making process. Attachments are anything you would use to put things together. Examples are glues, such as regular white school glue, or the glue I used in this image process, which were more specialized, like a flexible plastic adhesive, power tack adhesive, and Super 77 aerosol adhesive. Other ideas of attachments are tape, such as masking tape, duct tape, scotch tape, etc., or stapler, nails, paper clips. String can also be a source of attachment when you are sewing something together. Non-attachments are tools and resources that cause separation. So in this video, I use scissors and a styrofoam knife. Using one's hands to make rips in the image making process is also a non-attachment tool. Rulers and measuring tapes can also be considered in this category. They divide and separate different parts or sections of a project or image. Nona Orbach, an art therapist, describes this well in her book, The Good Enough Studio. She says when she's talking about attachments and non-attachment tools, she describes them as, quote, they separate or merge, foster connection between, or isolate things. By utilizing them, the working hands express an aspect of the relationship, end quote. So this is something to keep in mind. How are you attaching? How firm is that attachment? How long lasting will it be? And when you're working on separating, working on not becoming non-attached, how permanent is that as well?